The Krelthic screamed first, a shrill, warbling cry that echoed through the jungle camp like a predator's shriek, sending a dozen other alien students scattering into the brush. Harsh of the Earl species slapped to the thin, wiry strands of chitin coating his upper limbs, stumbling backwards into a makeshift tent pole. "They're everywhere," he shouted, eyes bulging in primal fear. "They're inside my armor." Several of his tentacles swatted wildly, missing the culprits, tiny, winged creatures that had infiltrated the open structure of his suit with terrifying ease. Sealant of the Asari was next. She dove into the purification basin, submerging her serpentine body in the sterile water in a futile attempt to escape the cloud of biting insects. Her scales rippled with painful tremors. "Why did no one warn us the humans lived with this?" she hissed. "These parasites, these predators, are microscopic assassins. The Earth terrain simulation, part of the intergalactic exchange program's Survive a Death World course, had been running for less than 5 hours, meant to acclimate non-human students to the environment of class. 5 hostile worlds. The simulation was based on a lowland Amazon rainforest biome. It was supposed to be controlled, monitored, safe. It was anything but. Dozens of alien students from 15 systems were flailing, tripping, or locked in paralysis as swarms of mosquitoes, midges, and horseflies descended with evolutionary precision. None of their standard field gear had been prepared for Earth's insect life. And at the center of this chaos, sitting on a moss-covered log with a bubbling metal pot over a small fire, was Cadet Harper Lynn. The human, bare-armed, calm, her boots muddy but her expression unbothered, Harper stirred the pot with a branch. Steam rose from the mixture of crushed leaves, bark shavings, and pungent herbs she'd gathered from the surrounding foliage. She had several long streaks of green paced across her cheeks and forearms. She swatted lazily at a fly buzzing near her face. Instructor ground barked orders through a translator device, antennae quivering. "Get under the environmental shields. Back to the evac tents. We are aborting this exercise immediately." Harper didn't move. "Harper," ground snapped. "Did you not hear me? We're pulling out." "No," she said, not looking up. "They're not leaving because Earth's dangerous. They're leaving because they don't know how to live with it." "What are you doing?" "Solving the problem." Ground's forward eyes blinked rapidly in confusion. "You're boiling leaves?" "Eucalyptus, citronella, rosemary, mint, a little vinegar from the food pack. Makes a natural bug repellent. My grandma taught me when I was 6. She dipped a piece of cloth into concoction, wrung it out, and tossed it to a nearby Bavari student still screaming in a crouch ball. "Wipe it on. Fast." The Bavari, four-legged and pale-skinned, with shimmering fur, hesitated. The smell was overpowering, bitter, and pungent. But the insects weren't biting Harper. They were ignoring her entirely. The Bavari snatched the cloth, dabbing frantically over exposed limbs and crying out in relief as the insects dispersed. Ground's voice faltered. "You neutralize the threat with plants?" Harper finally looked up. Her blue eyes were fierce. "Earth doesn't remove danger. It adapts to it. That's what we do." More students staggered toward her. The screams had stopped. Now there was awe. Cadets surrounded her pot, eyes wide, desperate for instructions. Harper handed out soaked strips of cloth like sacred relics. A few of the smarter species began taking notes. A Zalari opened a scanner and began recording the temperature, pH levels, and chemical composition of the mixture. "Wait your turn," Harper said. "You need to apply it to the high-heat zones of your species. For some of you, that's joints or sink glands." Ground watched, stunned. He had trained thousands of elite cadets. None had done this. None had turned a hostile field exercise into a classroom. The human wasn't just surviving. She was teaching. Hours later, the camp was transformed. Harper had organized leaf-gathering teams. The alien students, though exhausted, worked in coordinated squads under her instruction. There was a rhythm to it. Collect, crush, boil, cool, soak, apply. She taught them how to burn coffee grounds to ward off flying pests, how to create netting from local vines, how to rub certain crush leaves into clothing fibers. No kill-all shield? Sealant asked, wringing out her tail. No orbital defense grid? No sterilization wave. Harper shook her head. You don't sterilize a jungle. You live with it. You learn its rules. But it bit us. So do thorns and ants and fish. But we learn which ones are edible, which are deadly, and which are warning signs. This, she gestured to the steaming pot, is Earth's real power, not weapons. Wisdom born from discomfort. Word of the event reached the Galactic Council. They reviewed footage of the aliens' panic, the screaming, the chaos. But more importantly, they saw Harper, calm, capable, commanding, the planetary representative of a so-called primitive death world. A death worlder with no gun, no armor, just knowledge. And she had led, not by force, but by example. The Council's high envoy, a being who had once declared humans too chaotic to participate in leadership roles, watched the last clip 3 times. Harper, in the background, was laughing as she showed a Groven student how to rub sap on a sting wound. That, the envoy whispered, is more dangerous than any battleship. Back in the camp, as night fell and the insects returned in larger swarms, the alien students didn't panic. They boiled more leaves. They mixed more salve. Harper smiled to herself and leaned back on her pack. She didn't need applause. This was Earth's legacy. A world that didn't shield its children from pain, but taught them how to overcome it. And in teaching others that truth, she'd shown the galaxy exactly why humans were the most dangerous species of all.